Hello, everyone. This is a presentation how Reyee helped you in CCTV integrations. So I'm going to start. I don't know if you can hear me perfectly, but I'm going to proceed. Okay. So this is the first slide. The way is normally because we have an application in which you can download from the App Store or the Play Store, in which you can configure everything in your phone or in a web page if you prefer. But basically, any kind of configuration can be done in both sides. So as you can see on the screen, it's really simple. We have already our cloud in which uh, everything that is configured is applied directly to the servers or the devices that we already have, and everything is done by the cloud. So as you can see on the screen, I'm going to continue. So basically, we can do everything in the phone by like a bill and planning or portal application or asset app. So it's really easy. We have our own protocol in which it discovers all the devices that are connected directly to the cloud. In this case, it's an proprietary protocol in which we detect and we can configure and we can add the devices directly to only one device that is directly connected to the internet. So really simple how it's configured. One of the key features are the load balancer, easy authentication, the QoS and app control, and the SD-WAN. So I'm going to start with the load balancing. Basically, as you can see on the screen, this is just an example how you can configure up to 4 links. We have this example that we can go up to, in this case, 600 megabits per second, in which the first link has 200 megabits, the second the same, and the third the same. Maybe we can configure the link 3 or link 4 for redundancy, or we also can have redundancy like internet service provided for a wireless connection. So in this case, we can add the 4 of them like a total bandwidth, a total throughput in which we can add, and we have the total like 600 megabits per second. So, or if you prefer, we can just have like one link, and the other one it will be like the redundancy link. So this is the way that normally we already have for the connections. And see, this is one feature, the load balancing. So this is the way normally we configure. So in this case, we have the internet service provider one that has 100 megabits per second. This is an example. The second one with the same amount. The third one with 200 megabits per second, and we can add the 3 of them, and we have like a 400 megabits per second. We can aggregate, we can add, we can balance, and we can have redundancy between those 3 links. Another feature is the easy authentication. We already have a feature in which we can provide, as you can see on the screen, radius or an Active Directory domain in which we can add together, and everything is just authenticated by another server. In this case, for example, a radio server, in which it's going to authenticate the wireless or the switchboard connection that we already have done. So this is how it's done. Another way that we can also have is the captive portal, in which it's a feature for the wireless connection, in which we can do it by one click about your code, an account, etc. So it depends on how you want to configure. Actually, we can change the logo, we can change the background, we can change the message, the welcome message, or the text that you are going to provide. Later, I'm going to go to practice. So I will show you how it's configured in the devices. So basically, this captive portal has the ability just to show how it's going to be enabled if you want like a voucher code. For example, if you have a restaurant or a hotel in which you provide a code, or if you are like an office in which you have already accounts configured. So in that case, those accounts can be provided or can be entered, and in that way, you can access and have the privileges that you previously configured with the policies that you already configured there for your wireless connection. This is just an example how it's done with the voucher login. So the background, as you can see, we can change it if it's a hotel, it's a restaurant, it's a coffee shop. So depending on what how it's your business. So it can be done by SMS or another authentication for the captive port. So this is a flexible way to authenticate for the wireless connections. Uh, as I previously mentioned, we have like a control application. So in which at the beginning we can just monitor the real traffic that we already have for by interface, by port, and it's this this is done by real time. So it means that we already are gonna see what is happening in the complete device. So it will have the protocol, the application that you already have there. So everything is just be on the screen, and you will monitor those traffic. So as you can see, we can automatically update the library. So if you don't have to specify the port or the protocol or the application, so we already have a library. And we can choose the application like Facebook, Twitter, etc. So YouTube. So we can filter. We can just add or just select Office applications, for example. So we can block disentangled applications. In this case, for example, we can just select the bandwidth in which we can provide for each of the users or group that we already configured. For example, maybe we have like a mortal group and a gods group in which gods have a limited bandwidth, but the mortals only have like 5 megabits per second for any kind of these features or applications. So you can configure this and make the priority selection for those groups. We also have secure access internal device. So it means that we can access remotely to any of the devices that are connected to our cloud or to our devices. So it means that maybe we have an MBR system. This is remember that we are focused on this case for CCTV applications and delivery. So it means that we can access the cameras, we can access the MBR system. So I'm going to put a little text that we can enable how to access this. It's give me a second because I have sound here. So we can remote access this with the projects with the CCTV. So as you can see, really simple. We go to the device configuration, we select that root parcel, and then we also configure the toolname directly. So we don't require any kind of firewall or DNS or any kind of those security features in which normally we have to provide a public IP address just to access to those devices. So directly we provide this tunnel and we can access to the cameras to the AVR system. It's real simple. I'm going to show you also how to configure that and show you my camera directly connected to this. So as you can see, the heat vision camera or AVR system, we're accessing directly. So it means that we don't have to go on site with the customer and make any kind of these changes to the configuration because actually we can access remotely. So it saves time. It saves to move to the customers. Imagine that you already have like maybe 10 or 15 customers directly applied to this cloud. So we can just select, we can make the tunnel, and we can access normally between the 60 and 70 percentage of the cases. The only thing that we have to do for just repair this kind of connections with the camera is just to reboot this camera. So it's really simple. We can do that directly to the switch and select the on and off, and it's going to reboot the camera completely, and we are going to save time to go outside. So this is some of the features that we can make remotely. Well, there is another features that we have like ACN capability. So as I mentioned, we also can provide VPNs connection, or we can also send the devices to a remote site and make all the configuration directly to the cloud. And the only thing that we only need is just the QR code or the serial number or the codes, so we can access and configure that in the cloud. and everything is good. It's gonna done. You only have to connect it to the internet, and everything is it's going to be downloaded. So you don't have to go directly on site. You can distribute this through any kind of the companies that make logistics. So after it's delivered, they only unbox these devices and connect to the internet, and everything is going to be configured as you previously did it. So we also have like the visual cloud management because, as I previously mentioned, we can configure this like a different projects. So maybe you already have like between 50, 100 customers that we already provided the configuration, so you can access and make any kind of troubleshooting or just to access, make changes to those configurations if the customer needs a new requirement. So this is one of the features that we can do it remotely, and everything is going to be sent directly to the customer. This is how it's done. The branches offices record to the headquarters. So this is an example of how the branches offices are going to be deployed in different branches and directly connected to the headquarters. So it depends if it's a hybrid or mesh. So everything is going to be in the central side, or if you prefer, each of the branches will have their own connection to the internet and are going to be seen like they are connected through a VPN or any kind of configuration that you prefer there. So everything could be provided and administered central without any requirement, any extra devices for each of the sites. All these features are provided by the router devices. So I'm going to change to the key features for the switches. In this case, it's more focused on the CCTV. For example, at the beginning, I'm going to show you how to extend the distance that you could provide up to 300 feet. So it could be extended. Also, we can just reboot the port, and also we also can put an alarm if any of these devices go offline or the connection is lost. So all the alarms are triggered, and maybe we can send an SMS or an email in which they are going to tell us, okay, this camera is down or is not seen by the device. So these alerts will be like automated, so you don't need to be on site or see what is happening, so you can access remotely and maybe just remove the port of this, and some of the times it's repaired. So you don't need any kind of troubleshooting for those cameras again. So, another thing is that we have different kind of switches in which we can provide up to 370 watts. For example, we also have like a port 8, 16, 24, or 48 ports, depending on that. And we also can provide up to 30 watts per port. So the newest cameras, the newest access point could be just energized by this kind of switch that provides PoE or PoE, in which also you don't need to have like a calculator in which you probably have to read all the specifications for the camera. So with this kind of intelligent switches, the board will provide the energy that's necessary for those cameras or access points. I'm gonna change this. So in the case of another features that are needed, for example, if you want to separate the networks between your customer, we can provide the VLAN configurations. So you can segment these networks between them. So each of the networks cannot be seen. So maybe you have like an administrative network for the customer and for the users that are going to be there. For example, a coffee shop in which you can provide like a private network in which the administrative systems are going to be there. but the users are going to be connected to the internet. So we can separate. And also another network will be maybe the CCTV camera. So three different networks provided by the same device, and the three of them are not going to be seen in between them. So another protocol, it's the link aggregation control protocol, in which you add, as I previously mentioned, if you have two internet service providers, you can add together and you can balance or have redundancy if you wish. So this link aggregation control protocol, LACP, it means that you can add together. Another case for CCTV, it's the IGMP snooping, where it means that you can provide the same streaming that you already have for your cameras, and maybe instead of having heavy traffic for all those streamings that maybe it's 1K, 2K, or 4K, or 8K for each of the cameras, this streaming could be go to different devices at the same time without duplicating this traffic. It means that this streaming could go to the NVR system or the live streaming, and also another report tool maybe. So maybe the camera can support up to 3 streamings. So this IGMP snipping feature will provide this instead of getting the same traffic. At the end, just to protect this device, the client protection policy, it's that if you can configure maybe up to 70% of the CPU utilization it's at, you can just stop that traffic. So you're not going to be able just to go up to the 70%. So your device will be protected in case of an attack or something happening to that device. Cost-effective smart cloud, a really important feature in which some other vendors maybe give you an extra cost for that accessing the cloud. So they charge you by year, by 3 years, or 5 years. Our devices are completely included for the cloud management. So it means that any kind of configuration can be done remotely through the application. And maybe you have like a NVR camera recognition or automatic loop prevention. I'm going to show you everything, how it's done, because maybe you connect one port of the switch to the same ports of the same devices, and it is done a loop. So maybe you have a downgrade of the power that it's supported by those the switches in this case. So second. Before going to the Wi-Fi, I'm gonna change to the portal, in which, as I previously mentioned, this is my phone. You can do several things here. The same configuration that it's done on the portal via web, you can do it in the phone. So as you can see here, we already have the projects. We can access the projects, or maybe the toolkit, in which we already have like a antenna alignment tool, power availability calculation, or heat map. So it depends on the features that you want. You can access all the tools directly to the application on the phone, or you can do it via web. So for the configuration purposes, I will do it in the cloud. So as I previously mentioned, we have a different kind of how the features are going to be shown. So I'm going to begin with the Captive portal, because actually it was the first one that I showed you. So the first thing that you have to do is going to the authentication accounts, in which you can see here the Captive portals. But previous to that port, I'm going to enter. As you can see, it's a delay. Second. I'm going to add a Captive portal here. So really simple. I'm going to post. It's just going to be a test. The network to access, really simple, the VLAN that I showed you previously. And here, as you can see, we can add a page. It's just a test. I'm going to edit. So the way that the login option that we will have here is one click about your account. So how it's going to be configured here? It's done in the user management. So as you can see, we can change the logo. We can upload a picture here. It's the same that I already have here. We can change the background of the portal. I'm going to choose the copy. And we can change also the welcome message or any kind of this free internet welcome to the capture, as you can see. It's really just putting here. We can modify, or if you prefer, there is another feature in which you can see that it's mobile or desktop, or maybe you prefer just to, if you have like programmers in your company, you can just upload the HTML code and it's going to be provided. So I just click OK, and as you can see, it is out here. And after that, we can just have like a user management in which I can have users like an account, a voucher. So I'm gonna add vouchers. It's just an example. I'm going to add 20. I'm going to select the users group. It's going to be mortal because it's going to be limited. And when I click OK, as you can see, this is the voucher code. So if I try to connect directly to this Wi-Fi that it's going to be provided by these devices, I just put this and it's going to be configured and will have the same privileges as the user group as its mortals. I will have up to 5 concurrent devices and a quota of 2 gigabits. So it's just an example. Also, we can configure a user each other system. So I put it here 1, 2, 3, 4, and I select mortals, and that's the only thing that I have to do. So if I select account, I just put this user and password, and I will be connected here. So another feature that I want to show you previously is how I can access directly to the clients in this case. So as you can see on the screen, I have a Xiaomi phone here, which is connected directly to this home lab. So to select it, as you can see, I have the IP address 192.168.110 and 5. So this IP address will be needed later. So when I make the NAT transversal that you saw on the screen, I'm going to configure that. So I have NAT transversal. And as you can see also on the screen, it's already configured and it's going to end in 1 hour. So I already configured. But an example of what I need to configure is just, for example, I put IPCAT, and then I just put the internal IP address that it's going to be put there. And give me a second, I'm going to restart the server on my phone and the protocol needed. So I just click OK, and I just see configure. And there are 2 examples here. I can access, of course, I'm in my own LAN. I can access to this IP address that it's private, but also you can access here directly to this IP address. Maybe I can just copy paste on the chat. If you want to access, in a second, I'm going to put it here. If you want to see me on the screen, so this is the IP address, a public IP address. So when I move here, so this is a real-time camera. These are my home lab, and this is me. Hello. So this is just an example of how you can access the camera or the MBR system directly to your system without any kind of configuration of the public IP address. You don't have to buy any public IP address. You don't have to buy a firewall and deal with permit the nice rules in which you have to know the protocol before any kind of this configuration. Everything of this configuration is done directly by the Reyee cloud devices. So this IP address will be shown for you. So I'm gonna put here if you want to make it move on the board. Okay. So we have seen two features, the captive portal and also the NAV transversal. But it's not that simple. It's really simple because actually we can just go to the devices also and access remotely to those of the devices. So if I want to configure everything in the web portal, we can do it here, or we can also access it web. So the same devices can create tunnels directly and access to those configurations. I just limited it to this configuration. So the features for the switches that I previously gave you, okay, was to change the extended distance that we maybe have. I'm gonna put it here. And I have to go here to advanced features, and we have two of them. So the PoE watchdog is really simple. It means that if any camera or any PoE device that are connected to this device is off, it's gonna send me an alarm or trigger an alarm. And I can configure how it's going to be sent by SMS or maybe an email. So it's really simple. I just enable this feature, and that's all that I have to do. Later, to add or to extend the distance for the PoE cables, in this case for Ethernet, as we know, it's 100 meters or 300 feet. It's going to be here. This feature, the only thing that I have to do here is just to select the port and save, and that's all. This meant that when I try to, maybe it's only one camera or it's only one distance that is required. You don't need to buy another switch or buy another internet for only one camera. So maybe we can just extend the cable distance, and that's all the way what you have to do here. It's really important to mention that maybe you have this for 1 gigabit per 1 gigabit, but if you configure this, it's going to be downloaded. It's going to be downgraded, sorry, to full duplex instead to 10 megabits. So it means that it's just really simple just to configure maybe one 4K camera. It's going to be enough because actually the bandwidth required for those is less than 10 megabits. So you have a downgrade for those ports, but it's going to be able just to have that distance. Okay, so give me a second. I'm going to try to find it. So as you can see, we'll already see the boards. We also see the distance, and I'm going to return to the configuration in a second if I can open something, but I think it's also okay. We can continue because actually to configure the routing, as you can see, we have several features with the configure to VLANs. I forgot that part. Okay, I'm gonna go there. If I go directly to the network wide to network, this is the complete scenario of the COM lab that I have here. It's one router, one switch, and access points directly connected to here. So it's really simple, just how it's going to be segmented. So the default VLAN, maybe it's going to be for the administrative task, and I'm going to add wire VLAN. So really simple how it's going to be done. I'm going to put here maybe it's going to be users. I'm going to select the VLAN tag. I don't know. So as you can see, you don't have to deal with any kind of IP networking stuff because actually what is happening here is that it helps you. As I move here, it's going to select another segment for this DHCP or default gateway. So you don't have to deal with which is the correct IP address, which is going to be the range for the DHCP for the camera. So everything is done by itself. As you can see on the screen, I'm going to select users for the VLAN ID 15, and the segment is going to be 192.168.15. So really simple. If you want to put another IP address range, it means that the DHCP is going to be enabled from the IP address number 1 to 254. It's really simple. as you can see here. Then I just click next. And this is just to tell you that everything is going to be applied for the switches, for the access point. So all the configurations are going to be applied for this. And just click next, and everything is just going to be applied. Really simple, that's done. As you can see, it takes a couple of seconds. In the past, with other vendors, you have to go to the command line and put like a switchboard access and create a VLAN and then just tag those networking stuff and apply to those ports. And it was really complex, between maybe 20 to 30 commands in the command line. It was really complex in the past. So it is applied. As you can see, I used to have one VLAN that it's a default. Now I have the user's VLAN that it's going to be applied to the VLAN 15. And now the same stuff. So I'm going to create, as you can see on the screen, I already have the home lab Wi-Fi that is where my Xiaomi is connected. But I'm going to create a new SSID just to put an example how it's really simple just to be done. So my Xiaomi is going to be part of the administrative VLAN, but now I'm going to create a wireless VLAN. So really simple. It's going to be users. The password is going to be password. And I just select next. And here it's the simple thing, because actually I can select the previously VLAN created. So this SSID is going to be applied only for the users in the coffee shop, which is an example. And the previous configuration that I already have for the default gateway, the DHCP pool applied for the wired, now it's going to be applied for the wireless. So I just click next, and I just said that I want to apply for all the devices, and say, okay. Really simple configuration. It helps you to do from the wired and the wireless in just a couple of clicks. And then, as you can see here, now I have one SSID for the VLAN default, and now I have another SSID for the VLAN 15. So those VLANs are not connected between them; they cannot see each other. So if you have users in your coffee shop, maybe you have like administrative tasks that are going to be applied for, I don't know, the system, and then we have the users. You can create any kind of any type of VLAN, any kind of SSID configuration. You can change the password. You can change the authentication, as I previously mentioned. So as you can see, the two typical needs that are going to be needed for the Wi-Fi and the switches is really simple. Just to create a user. How it's going to be applied for the switches and the access points that I have. In a second. It's here. So the complete scenario, as you can see, it's my router, my switch, and now I have the access point. So let me return to the presentation. I think we already see almost all the spatial of all the requirements that I have here. I want to change it now to the Wi-Fi features. Okay, give me a second. Okay, so the Wi-Fi key features. As I previously mentioned, we don't need to pay any extra cost for accessing the cloud. So any kind of geared extra cost is not going to be applied here. So we can configure the routers, the switches, and also the access points on also the bridges and air metro devices that we have here. So we can monitor and we can just to see what's happening all the time, or maybe trigger some alarms if it's necessary. So it's really simple just to install. As you can see, just maybe a ceiling or a wall access point. You only connect the PoE, or if you don't have it, maybe just a power injector if it's needed. It doesn't matter. So really simple. Just connect this to the ceiling, and that's all. So in this case, it's just an example of the device that we have here. It's Wi-Fi 6. So it is AX3000. We have wired uplink up to multi-link. That's 2.5 gigabits per second. We also have a button in some of the devices in which you only press and the mesh network is going to be created that you don't have to do anything else. Free cloud management, and also a standalone application. It's just an example of the features that people have for each of the access points. This is just an example of the specifications for the Wi-Fi 6. It's really simple. It depends. It's just, as you can see on the screen, it's almost the same model, but the throughput change or the client capacity change. For example, we can go up to 500 users. We also have like a multi-gigabit port in which 2.5 it's ported or not. We also have like network ports, or how many ports are going to have. Some of them have to provide PoE. It depends. And the warranty is also really important because all of our devices have 3 year warranty. So it's also really important stuff, because normally only 1 year is supported for all other vendors. Changing to it was the indoor, now I'm changing to the outdoor devices. We can just have like the opening areas in which we would have like auditoriums or a conference room or swimming pools. I don't know. So it depends. We have several models in which also support waterproof. They are like IP65, 60, 68, depending on the device. We also can put this on the wall, on a pole, or in the ceiling. We have a device that the users really prefer a lot. This is called the ball. It's the round shape. So actually, it depends on how it's configured, but it also has a good features of the throughput. It could be installed inside or in a pool, so it is water resistant. So you could be like chatting in the pool if you prefer it, actually, because it could be down the pool. So really interesting device. As I previously mentioned, it's IP68, so really great protection level that we have here. The antennas are omnidirectional, but also we have access points that have directional antennas. These are the cloud tools that could be. I'm going to show you how it's done. For example, this is for the air metro, but it doesn't matter, because if you can do it for indoor, outdoor devices. We have like the bridge alignment tool, which helps you with sound, with colors, with maybe the device have a level of the colors, green or red, in which it indicates if they are aligned and they can see each other and continue working, or identify right for any kind of visual line. Okay, it takes it says that it takes 10 minutes, maybe it's a little more. And basically, it can be done by only one person, because you install the bridge and you go to the other side. And with this kind of tools, you don't require any kind of extra configuration or extra tool. So actually, the other vendors maybe require another software, another another application, or another kind of stuff. Because actually, with the same application that it's running on your phone, you can have this alignment. Actually, I'm going to show you here. If I go to the line, this is my phone number. So we have like the antenna line. So the only thing that you have to do is just select the Wi-Fi that is going to be provided by the bridge. I don't have any bridge here, but it will have here. So I just selected the Reyee network that it's created by default. So when I connected here, I can access the bridge connection and start the configuration of the antennas. Really, really simple. So it means that maybe that your installation guy is in a pole, and well, with one hand is going to be supported, but with the other hand, maybe he can do the configuration of the antenna, right? Okay, so I'm gonna start here. This is how it's done actually. When you have the spectrum scan, it gives you the colors. You know, maybe it's blue, green, red, yellow, depending on how the signal is. You select the channel, the bandwidth, or just select the channels between them. So it's just an example. Maybe if you remember legacy networks with the 2.4 gigahertz, you have like 11 channels. 1, 6, and 11 was the advice to select those channels for not having like the overlapping of the channel, right? So in this case, it is done it is done by AI, so you don't require any kind of configuration. Maybe you have like your neighbors that are using some of the channels, so it suggests to change the between 20, 40, or 80 megahertz, and it gives you the channels that you can select just to be like isolated from your neighbor, or an airplane, or an airport, or microwaves, that kind of stuff that normally, or maybe industrial machines that normally causes interference. It can give you those uh, examples of how you can move between the channels. So as you can see on the screen, it's selected and you can change between them. Uh, this is only for the bridges, and also release on this. So this is for the antennas. Maybe we have like air measure for 460. It gives you the decibels required for the connection between them, and also you can like make a speed test between them, and it gives you the complete amount of megabits per second required to that kind of connection. Remember that this kind of antennas, it depends on how it's configured, but maybe 1 kilometer or 5 kilometers up to 3 miles between them. So it can be configured that way. So, and everything is going to be monitored 24/7. So it can give you statistics on how it's the behavior of the link between them. So after normally this kind of installation, well, it's not requiring an extra configuration for those. I'm gonna put this is a video how to configure an antenna alignment. It's just a short video, and it doesn't require sound. So give me a second. I'm gonna put it here. So what I previously mentioned, the antenna alignment tool. So we have two Reyee air metro antennas. So they are connected to the application, and after that we have the spectrum scan in which they advise which channel you are going to select in this case. We have to log in, of course. We're going to use the wireless connection that the antennas gives you by default. So we can access and configure those. If you already have a password, we can also configure that password. After that, we just go to the alignment tool, and it gives you colors and how it's the signal. Remember that less is good, higher is bad. We also know that maybe up to 70 or 80 decibels, it's not a good choice. So between 20 to 40, maybe it's a good selection. It's going to be great. As you can see on the screen, up to 70, 80, it's not a good choice. We have to adjust. We have to reselect because actually maybe the connection is not going to be established between them. It will have up to 8 decibels. So as you can see on the screen, it's just configure to move. This is Air Metro, but it's just the same with the bridges that we already have there. We can move it in the flow. Really simple. The same tools are going to be applied for those antennas and bridges. This is just a physical installation for those antennas. And the spectrum scan, the channels that you're going to see there, will require a base station, maybe a bridge. And we're going to see which channels are going to be applied there. Well, it was finished a few minutes ago. Okay. Well, everything is in the same application, in the same website. If you don't like your phone, you can access web. And everything is just done by the application. You can access and configure the spectrum, the antennas. You don't need any kind of extra devices for those. This is just a brief resume of all the devices that we can provide you through. We have like layer 3 switches, layer 2 switches, depending if you require 24, 48. We have like outlets for SFPs, depending on what you need. Actually, for example, for PoE, CCTV requirements only, we also can provide it for A, 16 and 24 ports, depending on your needs. You don't need to have a power calculator because actually the switch will provide, but it depends on how many cameras. So just to get close to your pre-sales engineering with us, and we can also give you a good advice on this. So we have like layer 2 devices, layer 3 devices, switches, 24. We also have the router section in which, depending on your needs, but we can support up to 1,500 users or 200 users or 300 users, depending on the needs. Or the home office devices. We have like repeaters or extended signals. Those are decided for home series, and also the indoor, outdoor access points, including the wireless bridges or a metro that it could go up to 9 miles, depending on the needs, and all the base station that maybe you require that omnidirectional antenna or directional antenna, depending on your needs. So those those features, as you can see on the screen, are going to be the ones that we can offer: wall, ceiling, indoor access point or outdoor access point. Let me change it just to show you how it's done. The heat map. In a second, I have to just reload the credentials are going to be needed. Heat map. I just click here. I'm going to put office. It's just an example of what I have to do. If you're going to have like a site survey, I'm going to use here. It's just going to be office. And just select OK. And the good thing is that it will detect all the walls and it will suggest if it's a peak or a simple wall. I'm going to put that. It's just a default just to show you that. So as you can see here, we have the a thick wall and also we have like a thin wall. So it depends because actually we can put that these walls are done by crystal or glass or wood. So as you can see here, I just select here, and I can change to this kind of metal, office, tin, wall, etc. So it depends on how a concrete wall. So I'm gonna leave the default, but I can change, as you can see here. So when I make the site survey by AI, I'm going to place the devices. As you can see, I just click here, place devices, AEA system access point placement. Just identify the floor plan. And you can select the access point that you wish, or just leave the application to select. In this case, I'm going to put an example here to choose one of our models. And I just said start the AEA placement. So as you can see, the AI helps you and it's applied. So you can move, you can say, okay, I don't want it this, I want it here. So this is our omnidirectional antennas. If you have like a wall access point, you can change the direction of the signal, right? So this is the kind of stuff that normally is done by the AIs. So when you say, okay, I like this, or I can add another device here. Or maybe just to put another camera. Maybe one camera here, one camera here, here. And I say, okay, I just said export. When I say export, it gives me the topology, the bill of materials, as you can see here, how it's connected, everything. Maybe if you have like a different kind of floors, a building or a school or an office, maybe you have one floor, second and third floor. I don't know how many floors you wish. Also, you can add the switch and the router just to have this. It gives you a report that you can send to your customer, the heat map, how it's going to be done. And I just save locally Word. Give me a second. Just export it. And the report is just generated. It gives you highlights and the product list, as you can see, and the features of this access point that you selected, the topology. Indoor heat map, actually. If you want a 2.4, or you want a 5 gigahertz, don't apply. This is Stevens. Oh, sorry, I didn't move here, but yeah, you can change the direction of the cameras. I just put it just an example. If you want to have this, or even, I forgot to mention where's just close. So go. Um, we can also make like the cabling. So we can just, if you already have a switch, for example, we can make the cabling also. So everything is just to select the type of cable. In this case, I'm going to select Cat6. Start cabling. Oh, I need a switch. Give me a second. For devices, manually, I select switch. I select I need power here. So it gives you the specification. So I just selected it. I just put it. I'm gonna have a PoE switch, and after that, I just select cabling and start cabling. So as you can see, the cameras is going to be connected to the PLCs. Also, this report will be sent to your customer. I don't know if it helps you. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to change to the section of the questions and answers. I don't know if you have any kind of questions. I'm going to open mic. Any questions for the moment?
So thank you very much for joining this webinar. We will now open the floor for a question and answer session. So I'm going to enable your microphone right now. So your microphones are enabled right now. Feel free to ask any question that you have or any comment.
So if you don't have any questions, I'm going to leave you open. But at the beginning, I could give you a little training with Byron. Uh, if you need like a switch training or Wi-Fi products training, it doesn't matter. I can give more detail on how it's configured each of the specification of the features that I explained previously. But well, I think we can just leave it open, Byron. So if there
So,
is no question,
so
we can
it
just.
seems that everything is clear. So thank you very much, Eduardo, for
Mhm.
this very interesting webinar. And well, my dear attendees, we wish you all a wonderful day. Bye bye.
Thank you, Byron.
Thank you very much, Eduardo.
I'm gonna leave.
Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye bye.